Hi, I'm Tom Miles, District Governor for Rotary District 6310. This is the second edition of a Rotary District 6310 video newsletter. And this one will focus on our district conference, which has been canceled, but we'd like to do a lot of the ideas from it in this presentation. So we're in Mount Pleasant. We'll head the direction of the Comfort Inn where the conference would have been held. We'll go outside and head the direction of the Comfort Inn. We won't go down the river here, but we'll go out beside the river and look a little bit. So because of the COVID epidemic, we're doing our district conference in a forum by video rather than live. So in brief, our district conference this year, because of COVID-19's fear, will be on Facebook, so please take a look as conference presenters appear. Well, if we think of a conference, we'd be in big trouble if we were trying to go upstream without a paddle. But we've got a paddle, and we had a great conference planned with the conference chair, Alicia Fisher, who will make a few comments to us now.
Hey Tom, thanks for the introduction. I want to take a minute to thank everyone who was on the planning committee for this year's district conference. We have been in the works since last June of 2019 planning for this, and we had support from people all across the district. We had people from Pigeon, we had people from Frankenmuth, we had people from Shepherd, and of course we had a lot of Mount Pleasant Rotarians helping with the planning of this conference. So thank you all for your support during this. I'm super bummed that it's not something that's going to happen this year, but I think we all understand why that can't happen. Anyway, thank you so much. Truly appreciate it. So Tom had this great idea that we would take some of our topics and turn them into videos so that you guys could still experience the conference from the safety of your home. So I encourage you to take a look and keep in mind that you don't have to watch every single video. Much like the conference, you get to pick and choose what's important to you and what feels like something of value to you. So feel free to peruse what we have put forth and pick the videos that are going to be just meaningful to you. So enjoy.
Hello, I'm Cindy Covington from District 6970 in Northeast Florida. I bring warm greetings and a message from President Mark Maloney to all the Rotarians in District 6310. I would also like to thank District Governor Tom Miles for making this virtual message possible. Now more than ever, the world needs Rotary and people of action like each of you. The COVID-19 coronavirus has changed the way all of us do things, and in particular, those of us who are most comfortable when we are fully engaged in the world, moving freely, meeting openly, and offering helping hands. We are at our best when we are learning, growing, and serving together. We are leaders in our communities, and we have proven abilities to reach out, collaborate, and offer immediate help to people in need. Rotary has the unique ability to help improve ongoing efforts in every community and every country. Using the technology that we have at our disposal, we can continue to connect and collaborate on big projects. Rotarians are helping health authorities communicate best practices, providing needed equipment, or even support that has been shared with leaders around the world. This is an unprecedented challenge, but it is also an opportunity for Rotarians to find new, meaningful ways to lead individuals and communities to connect and do good in the world. Together, we can demonstrate that Rotary connects the world in innovative ways. Clubs around the world are holding online meetings and sharing about COVID-19 awareness. They're helping to distribute food and necessary items like sanitizer and face masks. They are even helping others upgrade their technology so that they can stay in business. I know that the Rotarians in District 6310 have risen to this occasion making a difference and staying connected in your own local communities. While I am disappointed that we could not be together at your district conference in person to celebrate the successes you have had this year, I am happy to be with you virtually to commend you for the good work you have done and bring you President Mark's message. I encourage you to be advocates of change. We must continue to evolve and be relevant as an organization, and COVID-19 has certainly brought that point home. The more we can partner with others, be creative in our meeting formats, and innovative in our solutions, the stronger Rotary will be in the future. Remember, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay connected. Bye for now.
Hello, I'm Dee Brock. I'm going to talk to you for a few minutes about Interact. In the Rotary Interact Handbook, Interact is described as a service club for youth ages 12 to 18 who want to connect with other young people and have fun while serving their communities and learning about the world. Clubs, which meet at least twice a month, are sponsored by local Rotary clubs. Members of that local Rotary club then mentor the interactors as they carry out projects and develop leadership skills. But to most of us, Interact is simply defined as the high school version of Rotary. Our district has 10 chartered and active Interact clubs, plus one early act club, which is sponsored by the Rotary Club of Oscoda. And 2 more clubs have contacted me just recently with an interest in starting Interact once schools are back in session. Interact activities vary from club to club. However, each club must participate in at least one local, community, or school service project and at least one global or international service project, which is usually Purple Pinky or Polio Plus fundraising project. All Interact clubs are encouraged to participate in the service projects of their sponsoring Rotary Club. Last year, I asked the Interact advisors to email me a list of the projects done by their individual Interact clubs. And what I have for you is a partial list of the activities that they sent to me. Examples of some of the activities they do along with their sponsoring Rotary clubs include they participate in road cleanup or adopt a highway. They collect Christmas gifts for the elderly and low income. They help their sponsoring clubs with their service projects such as pancake dinners, beef dinners, spaghetti dinners, community dinners. I think our district must really love its dinners. They worked for 5K races, festival setups, raising funds for disaster victims, food drives, and so on. They also participated in district projects such as planting trees, collecting books for the Philippines, and for the little free libraries that all of our Rotary clubs now have. They work with the Rotary clubs at homeless shelters and even animal shelters, and they assist their sponsoring Rotary Club with Christmas activities. Some of the projects that they've done on their own as just Interact students have been, they've made cards and visited nursing homes and medical care facilities, participated in Earth Day activities, not this year, but most years, caroling at the homes of shut-ins, the elderly, assisted living homes, collected winter clothing and hygiene products for students in need, recycled and picked up trash in and around their school and communities, organized and worked Purple Pinky and other polio fundraisers, volunteered at medical care facilities, sponsored park cleanups. And they take part in the literacy month that our Rotary clubs do, usually taking on the role of reading to the elementary students. One of our clubs, in fact, did a project to upgrade the facilities at a park restroom. The facilities they worked on were the roof and the floor. That same club had plans to improve the walking trail behind the elementary school. And for several years now, we have sent students from our district Interact clubs to the Dominican Republic along with our district water and sanitation committee to work on several of the service projects that our district has going on in the Dominican Republic. So those students worked alongside of our Rotarians and Rotarians from the Dominican Republic. Now I've condensed this list. They really have done much more. I didn't include everything. But when you take a look at the projects that our district interactors have taken part in, either as an Interact club in itself or alongside their sponsoring Rotary Club, it's easy to see that interactors can make it possible for clubs to do so much more good in the world and in their own communities. At the Foundation Gala in 2018, our keynote speaker was past District Governor Wade Nomura from California. He was so pleased to see so many young people in attendance. Before he began his speech that evening, he asked all of the Interact, Ryla, Youth Exchange, and Rotaract students in the room to stand up. When they were standing, he said to them, "People say you are the future of Rotary, but that's not right. You are the present of Rotary." And I'm sure that those of you who work with our district youth will totally agree with that statement. Now, if your Rotary Club is interested in sponsoring an Interact Club, please contact me. I think that you will find working with the youth side by side, teaching them the importance and value of service is really very rewarding. Thank you. Hello everybody, Dee Brock here. I'm one of the co-chairs for Ryla for our district. Our other co-chair is Crystal Campbell. She's from the Mount Pleasant Rotary Club. And I'm going to talk to you about Ryla. First of all, Ryla is really Rotary Youth Leadership Award. A lot of people just refer to it as Ryla. Now, Ryla is called an award because it's actually an opportunity that your club gives to a student from your area to learn more about leadership. They're probably already leaders in their school or have the potential to be leaders, so we're enhancing and honing their leadership skills for them. We hold Ryla every year at Camp Rotary. Not this year because we had to cancel Ryla for this year, but this is where we usually go, is Camp Rotary for Ryla. Some of the things that we offer at Ryla are we have 6 motivational speakers. We have some great counselors for the students who work on, they're divided into teams, and those counselors work on some of the skills that students will need, especially the skills that the motivational leaders have just spoken to them about. And the students learn the 4-way test. Every day they start their day with, we ring the bell and we start our Ryla day, and the students recite the 4-way test, and then a lot of their activities that they're working on, the counselors bring back to the 4-way test. Some of the things the kids really enjoy about Ryla is, of course, the team building, the communication skills, especially effective communication skills, which would be something that the speakers have stressed. Networking, just like as adults we like to network, so do the students. They love talking to each other about some of the activities that they're doing at their schools. And of course they learn a lot about Rotary and how it works and what we do as Rotarians and this our service above self motto. And of course the biggest thing of all is the new friendships that they gain, friendships that last for a lifetime. So. And some of the other things that they love to do, they have horse challenges, they have campfires, fun nights, they do small group discussions, s'mores 2 or 3 times while they're there. They enjoy the s'mores. This year, by the way, these are my 3 of my granddaughters. This year, one of the because we had to cancel on-site Ryla, we decided to do a virtual Ryla. So we will have a virtual leadership seminar probably during the same week that Ryla would have taken place, but information will be going out to the presidents within the next week probably, asking you to send us the information of one of your student leaders that your club would like to sponsor. There will be no cost for this because the district already has a Zoom, and that's how we will be presenting the information to the students. So thank you. Thanks. S'mores.
S'mores.
Sveta noć, o noć jest.
Hi! Coast Trip 2019 with Tomoe Tours.
Hello, my name is Sydney Compton. I'm 17. I go to school in Beaverton, Michigan, but my Rotary Club is the Gladwin Rotary Club. And I was an exchange student to Croatia in the year 2018-2019. Exchange is an incredibly transformative experience. It's not just a trip. You don't get to just go for a year. It's living in people's homes. It's learning the language. It's going to school. It's an entire life that students create entirely by themselves. And you get to experience it just for you. And you get to travel a lot. So I have my flag, but I also have a couple pictures on my wall, as you can see. This is me in Austria. France, Croatia, Italy, Belgium, Slovenia. When I was on exchange, I got to go to 12 different countries. I got to do a Euro tour, coast tour, ski weeks. I got to go snowboarding in the Alps. One thing I can tell you I got out of exchange is knowing what I wanted my career to be. I learned a lot more than just what I wanted to be when I grew up. I learned how to live with people, I learned how to speak Croatian, I learned how to adapt to entirely different cultures and personalities. Making friends in another country is not as easy as you think. But I did it. And I have friends that I still talk to every day, months after I've been home. Plus, District 6310 is the best district I have ever come in contact with. I've spent lots of time in other districts talking to other Rotarians, but District 6310 is full of people that actually genuinely love and care for these students and their experiences. I have never felt so much love from strangers as I have through Rotary Youth Exchange, especially in District 6310. I can't thank Rotary Youth Exchange enough, let alone my district. The program has changed my life for the better. I know that I will be a part of this program for the rest of my life. Whether I go to school in Rome or I live in Chile in 5 years, I will always seek out the Rotary Youth Exchange of my area and be a part of it because it means so much to me and it means so much to the students of the future. It is more important now than ever to pledge our support to this program. We cannot let COVID-19 or coronavirus ruin what we have created to be such an open program that is bringing the world together. Things may be on hold at the moment, but they won't be forever. Working to keep this program alive is what we need to do right now. So come on, what are you waiting for? You not only have the chance to entirely transform a young student's life and open them up to literally the world of possibilities, but you have the chance to open yourself up to kids that can just show you the world, students that know things that you don't, students that have seen things that you want to see, students that can transform you too.
Wilson, I'm 16, I'm a junior at Dow High, and I went to Germany on exchange for 8 months.
Hi, my name is Kendrick. I was a Rotary Youth Exchange student to Indonesia for the year 2019 to 2020. I recently came home because of the COVID-19 epidemic.
When Corona first started happening around the world, I kind of naively thought that it wouldn't affect me or my exchange at all. I just thought it was something far away that wouldn't have any effect on me or what I was doing, but it ended up having a huge effect on what I was doing. All the schools in Germany got canceled. The death toll was very bad.
In about early January, maybe late January, we found out, and Rotary was very quick to make sure that people in Indonesia had masks, people had sanitation, hand sanitizers and antibacterial things, and that was something that in Rotary we did a lot of, is not only education about the epidemic, but also, handing out masks that people were sewing and handing out free hand sanitizer a lot, which was a lot of fun. And, just overall being safe, being in isolation.
It just kind of turned my whole exchange and life upside down, to be honest. When it first started happening, I wasn't expecting to be sent home or have to go home, but then my Euro tour got canceled and I was kind of like, oh no, I could kind of feel it coming.
Before I left, I was in isolation for about a month where I didn't leave my house, which, has its good things and bad things. I mean, I did get to spend a lot of time with my host family, which was very nice, but, being overseas away from your natural family is very hard, especially when something like this happens in the world.
Rotary has been really helpful through everything that I've gone through. Even after I've come home, they've been really helpful. I never felt unsafe or that I was in a situation where I had to figure things out by myself. I never felt alone.
When I went to Indonesia, there was so much great work that I participated in with Rotary. I did vaccinations against malaria to children in villages. I did a lot of charity work that included going to villages and building houses and toilets. I also did several beach cleanups and mass donations of clothing and food with my Rotary Club. I got to work with lots of kids with special needs, like having loss of hearing or blind kids, teaching English, and also just interacting and learning their language as well. I got to travel a lot, which was amazing. I got to see so many beautiful pieces of nature, that in America you wouldn't have. And so I think it was a really amazing experience and just something that I think everyone should be able to see.
I'm obviously very sad that it had to get cut short the way it did, but I got 8 wonderful, amazing months in Germany, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, in a perfect world, I would have stayed until the end, but I'm just so grateful for the time that I did have and the friends that I did make and the host families that I formed lifelong connections with. Even though my exchange wasn't perfect, it's still the most incredible 8 months of my life.
Hi everyone, my name is Garrett Heaney and I am the Alma College Rotary Club President. And I'm proud to say that within the last year we have completed events such as the annual Fall Festival, which is taking place in downtown Alma, and other fundraisers and clothing drives put on for the Baptist Children's Home in St. Louis. Because I'm a senior, I'll be graduating this May, so I'd like to make this short little video talking about what Rotaract has provided me during my time at Alma College. Rotaract personally has provided me with leadership opportunities and the ability to provide change in my communities through these fundraisers that we can do through our local clubs. I know personally that the work that has been done by the Alma College Rotaract Club and the neighboring clubs at CMU and SVSU have been very fulfilling for its members and the people involved on these projects. With that, if you are a member of Rotary or Rotaract, then I'd like to say that I'm proud to understand the importance of the idea of service above self. However, if you're not a member of one of these clubs, then I hope that you gain interest in wanting to provide change to your local communities and that you look into your local clubs so that one day you can provide positive change to the people around you. With that, for the short video, I'd like to end it with quickly saying that I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy during this interesting time, and that our clubs within and outside our district are finding ways to provide aid to the people in need during this time. With that, I hope everyone is doing well, so take care. Bye.
Good evening, everyone. We welcome you to this second edition of our district video newsletter. This evening, we'd like to share with you a bit about the Rotary Foundation. When we often speak of the Rotary Foundation, we speak of the work of the foundation. Tonight, I'd like to share with you the mission of the Rotary Foundation. The mission of the foundation is to enable Rotarians, and I'd like to stop there and reflect on that a moment, because that really says that the work of the foundation is accomplished through Rotarians. You, myself, all those around our district, our neighboring districts, and districts around the world. So the mission of the Rotary Foundation is to support Rotarians as we live out in our local communities the work of Rotary, as we facilitate the work of Rotary around the world. There are two groups in that work, in that effort, the donors and the doers. And so tonight we want to thank you if you are one of the donors in our district to the Rotary Foundation, because you have a humanitarian heart that leads you to commit a portion of your resources to the work of the Rotary Foundation that allows us to accomplish the projects that we do in our communities and around the world. So thank you for being a donor. And then there's the other group, the group of the doers, those people who put mind and hands and back and feet and heart into making those projects come to life in their communities and globally. Putting books in the hands of preschoolers and planting trees by a trail or cleaning a river or packing food for shipment to far distant lands, or volunteering at a food bank in their local community, or creating an orphanage and a technical school in Africa, or creating a midwife training program in Zambia, or safe water in the Dominican Republic, or furnishing an operating suite in India. The doers, whether in our district or in other districts, the doers make the work of Rotary happen. So thank you if you are a doer, if you are living out the mission of the Rotary Foundation in your community and beyond. But then our district is doubly blessed when one person, when one Rotarian is both a donor and a doer. And thank you especially if you are a part of that group, where again, you commit your treasure to making the work happen, and then you get in there and make the work happen physically as you live out that project. Tonight you're going to hear some brief video presentations about our district grants and projects that have been done, global grants, and some tremendous work that has been done through the seed money that came from our clubs. You'll hear about polio, you'll hear about peace, you'll hear from our global scholar, and finally a very special treat from Jane Nelson as she speaks about peace and the United Nations. Please enjoy this newsletter on the Rotary Foundation.
My name is Chuck Cusick. I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Bay City and the Polio Plus chair for our district. Today we are faced with a pandemic caused by a virus for which there is no vaccine. This is similar to what the world faced with the polio virus not so many years ago. As Rotarians, we can be proud that the infrastructure we helped build to fight polio is being used to address and stop the spread of the new coronavirus. In 13 countries, polio volunteers have been deployed to address the COVID-19 preparations and response. As we meet this COVID-19 emergency, we realize that some aspects of the polio eradication program will be affected. Some national immunization days may be canceled or postponed. As a result, some children might not receive the vaccine in time to protect them from the disease. As of April 15th, 42 cases of the wild polio virus have been reported, 3 in Afghanistan and 39 in Pakistan. Nigeria has not reported a case since 2016. The most important thing we can do as Rotarians is to maintain our commitment to eradicate polio. We need to reach our $50 million fundraising goal this year so that we can safely reach all children with the polio vaccine. Thank you.
My name is Chrono Hoffman, and I'm a Rotary Club member in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. I was attracted to Rotary because of the mission to eradicate polio worldwide. I thought I would tell you a little bit about how polio has impacted my dad's life and how I was affected by being raised by somebody that had polio. My father, Don Tree, was born in 1944 in St. Louis, Michigan. He contracted polio in 1948. That was before the vaccine was introduced. My dad was paralyzed for over a year back then as a young child. One of my favorite stories that he shares is that even back then he just loved music. And so while he was paralyzed, his family put a record player next to his bed, and he would try to reach that record player every day until he finally could. His parents used an experimental doctor back then instead of the local doctors. There were just a lot more treatments available by using an experimental doctor. However, my dad had about 100 surgeries in his lifetime. Most of those occurred during his childhood. He walked with a severe limp where he dragged one of his legs until he was about in his 40s, and then he transitioned to crutches, and then about 10 years later in a wheelchair. Shortly after my dad graduated high school, him and his buddies traveled to San Francisco, California to pursue their music career. They even opened up for Grand Funk Railroad for a time, so that was another great story he would share. A couple years later, he came back home and attended CMU and earned his bachelor's degree in music and his master's degree in experimental psychology. His dream was to become a music therapist. However, his physical disabilities got in the way of being hired in the industry. He went to hundreds of interviews, but his severe limp seemed to be seen as a liability, and there were no protections for disabled employees back then. The Americans with Disability Act wasn't in effect until 1990, and at that point he would have been 46 years old. So long before then, he settled into a career as a musician, playing in bands across Gratiot and Isabella County. He played lead guitar and six-string bass, and he also sang. And he did that for about 40 years. This is how he supported his family. My dad never received any sort of financial disability assistance until he was about 60 years old. And his damaged heart and lungs from polio made it impossible for him to work. My dad married my mom, Mana, in 1973 and had 3 daughters. My dad was extremely proud of his Native American heritage and chose to name his girls Native American names, Cheyenne, Quanah, and Maya. My sisters and I spent our childhoods helping my dad with everything we could. We knew that his disability caused some limitations, and we just really wanted to make sure his life could be as easy as possible. But some of my earliest memories are of my dad crawling up our stairs on his hands and knees to his bedroom every day because walking those stairs just weren't possible for him. My dad loved sports. Detroit Tigers, Detroit Lions, and Michigan State football and basketball were always playing in our house. My dad also loved his friendships. Everyone that met my dad would call him their best friend. So my dad died at 73 years old a couple years ago, and that was after almost 7 decades of suffering from post-polio syndrome. While most people would count my dad as someone who has recovered from polio, I'd like to point out that the damage polio caused to all of his muscles and organs lingered on for the rest of his life. While he survived polio, he suffered unimaginable pain and obstacles caused by polio during his entire life. My dad always modeled hard work and determination and never allowed anyone to see him as a victim. My sisters and I have used his strong example in servant leadership through our vocations. My older sister is a nurse at a nursing home in Midland where she selflessly takes care of people in need. My younger sister is a research scientist at CMU, where she worked in virology for many years, but recently transitioned to breast cancer and neuroscience research. And then I serve others by teaching business at the Saginaw Chippewa Tribal College.
Well, hello. This was a presentation that we were supposed to be giving at the Rotary District Conference, my students and I, but unfortunately, of course, we're all stuck in this COVID nightmare. So I'd like to give you a little bit of a sense of a project that has been very near and dear to the heart of the entire Alma community for the last 6 years. And that is a project in one of the poorest countries in the world, Sierra Leone. We first got involved in Sierra Leone in 2010, actually, when we found out that here was a country with 6 million people that had 95 doctors in the entire country. We ended up meeting one of those 95 doctors who came to Alma and spoke at our local Rotary Club. And he told us about the desperate conditions of these poor children, of women who had no access to any kind of care, of people who had to have operations, huge hernias, hysterectomies, with absolutely no general anesthetic. And so we ended up, as the Rotary Club, supporting this hospital. Then the disaster of Ebola hit in 2014. And this hospital that we had worked with so very closely for 4 years was closed for 9 months. And 15 of the healthcare workers at the hospital ended up dying from Ebola. They were taking care of desperately sick patients. We found out about this, and we found out that these 15 healthcare workers had left 50 children as Ebola orphans, some of the 12,000 Ebola orphans in the country of Sierra Leone, a country of 6 million people. And so our Rotary Club, with the support of the Rotary of our district and of Rotary International, put together what became a $53,000 grant. And this $53,000 grant has transformed the lives of both Ebola orphans and of a very small rural community in, again, one of the poorest countries in all of the world. After receiving our Rotary Global Grant, we began 3 years ago to develop plans to build what became the Mankankisa Orphanage in Yale, Sierra Leone. This was a project that turned out to be very, very challenging. It's extremely difficult to get anything done halfway around the world, and especially to get things completed in a country that had so very little. Fortunately, we worked with an organization in Sierra Leone that had a number of different expatriates from South Africa, from the Netherlands, from the United States, who collaborated together and ultimately built a four-building orphanage that became not simply an orphanage, but a community center. And again, we call this the Mankankisa Children's Center. And right now, that includes 2 buildings in which 10 Ebola orphans live together, and they are taken care of by a sort of house mother. And we have, in addition to these 2 buildings, we have 2 other buildings, one of which serves to house the project manager and visiting guests, and the other is a dining hall, and also doubles as a tailoring workshop. This tailoring workshop has been fantastic. It's an opportunity for local women to learn tailoring skills. We have hired a full-time tailoring instructor. In our first batch of women, they are 18 years old to 29 years old. Not a single one of them has ever earned a penny from anything in their entire lives, are just about to complete an 18-month training course, after which they're going to be able to rent time on our sewing machines that will enable them to build or to make dresses and to make clothing that they will be able to sell for a profit. and we'll be able to give some of that money back so that we are able to keep the orphanage and the sewing tailoring workshop going. In addition to the tailoring workshop, we have also created a 10-acre farm. That 10-acre farm includes 6 large greenhouses. In those 6 large greenhouses, produce crops every 4 to 6 weeks. Those crops not only feed the local town and the children, but are also being used to sustain the orphanage and the children's center itself. Our next big project, and one that we're very excited, by the end of this summer, we are going to have in operation a woodworking workshop. We are building a small facility. We have all of the equipment already on site, and that's going to, very similarly to the tailoring workshop, it's going to provide local men the opportunity to develop those skills necessary to have a sustainable livelihood. And so we would like to just make everyone aware of the transformative impact that Rotary has had on people who have so very, very little in one of the most desperately poor and downtrodden countries in the world. So a big thank you to Rotary.
Hello, I'm Gail Hoffman, a proud Midland Rotarian. For our club, I serve as the Peace Building Committee Chair. For our district, I serve as the Peace Scholar Chair. And I'm really pleased to have an opportunity to share the many advantages of becoming a Rotary Peace Fellow. In this presentation, you'll learn a little bit about the Rotary Peace Fellowships, but maybe more importantly, how committed District 6310 is to finding a qualified applicant for the 2020-2021 Rotary year. To serve this vision, Rotary has developed partnerships with 8 renowned universities across the globe that host the Rotary Peace Centers. A bit about our programs, but before, consider that the coronavirus pandemic is forcing us to transform in ways we cannot yet even imagine. We do know that life will not be the same, but there will be a new normal. So perhaps you or someone you know in law enforcement, education, social work, or other professions would like to take advantage of a fully funded opportunity for career development through either the master's program or the certificate program. Up to 130 Rotary Peace Fellows are selected each year to earn a master's degree or the professional development certificate for careers in either peace building or peace development. So each year, up to 50 fellows, early to mid-career people, are chosen for the master's degree, a 15 to 24-month program. Also, each year, up to 80 fellows, mid to later career, are chosen for the certificate program, a 12-month course. And the fellowship covers everything: tuition and fees, room and board, round-trip transportation, and all research and study expenses. Well, you might be wondering, what do Peace Fellows do? 93% of the more than 1,300 working alumni say they are in jobs connected to peace and development in more than 150 countries across the globe. Those jobs might be in government or non-governmental agencies, maybe in international organizations, education, research, maybe working for UN agencies, maybe in law and law enforcement or in the military, maybe working as journalists for the World Bank or even other professions. So District 6310 has a goal, a team, and a plan. The goal is to identify at least one qualified applicant for the Peace Fellowship program during Rotary year 2020-2021. We have a core team. Lynn Mishley from Morning Rotary has lots of experience with RYE and VTT. Tom Lane from Midland Rotary is co-chair of international initiatives He's our club's Rotary Foundation chair, and he's also the assistant governor. Gene Schaller. Gene is an honorary Midland Rotarian. Gene is president of the Nonviolent Peace Force Midland chapter, and of note, Gene is a 2015 Peace Fellow who studied at Chulalongkorn University in Bangkok, Thailand. Asha Ashokan is also a member of our team. She's a current Peace Fellow. She's working on a master's degree in international development policy at Duke University. And we also have a plan, and that is to not only identify a potential applicant, but to provide appropriate mentoring and help with successful district endorsement. For more information, please contact me. My email is listed on the screen, gailhoffmanhome@gmail.com, or feel free to call me on my cell phone, 989-324-0251. And in closing, stay safe and be well.
Greetings, fellow Rotarians across the district, District 6310. We're excited to be with you this morning, albeit we would much prefer to be with you all in person. We hope that you're well and healthy, and we also hope that you're continuing to serve your communities the way we know that you have done so well in the past. This message today is to update you on the efforts of our strategic plan in our district. That this past winter, several of our leaders in our district got together, in fact, several times to review our existing strategic plan that was last updated in 2015. It was a very well-written plan, but again, it was updated in 2015. So our goal was to revise the plan and update it, and quite honestly, make it more concise, to make it more easy to understand, and then also easy to implement. So after much discussion with those leaders in our district, it was decided that our plan more closely aligned the strategic plan for Rotary International, which incidentally was just updated as well. That plan that Rotary International has come up with has basically 4 pillars or 4 strategic priorities. Number 1, to increase our impact. Number 2, to expand our reach. Number 3, to enhance participant engagement. And number 4, to increase our ability to adapt. Within those 4 strategic priorities, there are 14 specific objectives. I won't go into those today, but I would encourage you to look it up on the Rotary International website, or we hope to have this posted soon on our district website, which, by the way, has been greatly enhanced, and we appreciate the efforts of our communication committee to do so. Beyond that, our district governor-elect, Randy Edema, has put in place strategic goals and objectives for his year beginning July 1 of 2020 through 2021. And he has 3 specific goals that he's put in place and shared those goals with our president-elects at our recent PETS training. Those goals are specifically membership, Polio Plus efforts, and then contributions to our annual fund share program. Specifically, membership, the goal for 2020-2021 is 1,400 members with a net gain of 1 per club. And of course, that membership growth can come organically within our own clubs. It can be sponsoring a new club, such as a satellite club, as an example, or maybe even a Rotaract club. And then our Polio Plus goal, polio continues to exist in the world, and we continue to have a heart and a burden to eradicate it once and for all. And so our goal for our district is $55,000 towards the eradication of polio. That translates to $40 per member. And then finally, our annual fund share contribution to Rotary International, which we all know a portion of those dollars come back to our district to help support our district grants that we've been participating in for quite some time now. And we trust that many of you have seen the fruits of a district grant project in your own communities. So the goal there is $190,000, and that translates to $138 per member. So again, just a quick overview of our strategic planning efforts here in our district. Again, one of our goals that Rotary International has put forth is to increase and adapt our ability to adapt. Again, increase our ability to adapt. And this is our effort to adapt with the current situation that we're finding ourselves in and delivering important information for our district and for your own clubs moving forward. So with that, I'll sign off and wish you all the best in your endeavors as Rotarians, and just want to say thank you for all that you're doing to make a difference in your own local communities as well as globally. Take care.
Hi, this is Melanie McCoy. I am from the Rotary Club of Seaboing, and I'm the membership chair and club extension for the district. So today, to help Governor Tom in his videos, I was going to share a little bit about different kinds of memberships, and I'll concentrate on associate members first. Associate membership, corporate membership, and then the satellite clubs are three things I'd like to talk about, but I'll just concentrate on associate today. So, associate membership is a new kind of membership, and I think it sounds great. So today, in our environment of what's going on out there, we're seeing all kinds of really cool volunteers, people that are stepping up in the community. And it would be great if we could get some of those folks into Rotary, because everybody knows the more diverse and the better people that you have and more that you have in your Rotary, the more effective, the more fun it is to have the meetings and all your activities. So an associate member may be someone that is maybe a youth that doesn't have the funds to be a full-time member, or maybe a senior that doesn't have the funds, but they might not know exactly what Rotary is about, and it'd be a great opportunity to bring them in. They're an associate member. They are part of your local Rotary Club. They go to all the meetings, participate in everything, but yet they don't get included on the Rotary International membership list. So they wouldn't be considered part of your full-time membership, but you wouldn't have to pay the dues to Rotary International or the district for them. They'd only have to pay for their lunch or whatever kind of meeting you have. So I think that sounds fantastic, because it would be great, because then maybe these folks would be able to convert over down the road and become a full-time Rotarian and be part of that whole Rotary family. So also there's corporate memberships, which will allow you to work with a local corporation, and they might want to have placeholders because their people might be transient or not always in town, and they would like to flex different people in, and they'd be able to have their corporate spots on your Rotary. Any of these different kinds of memberships need to be included in your bylaws, and if you have any questions about that, feel free to get a hold of me, because Rotary International has examples that they can show us down the road of other people that have added them to their bylaws. And also, if your club has maybe a morning meeting or a noon meeting, and you have some opportunities for an evening meeting like our Pigeon Club is looking at, you could have a satellite club which only needs 9 members to start, and they would be kind of like an arm of your basic club, your home club. But I can talk about that next time. So if Governor Tom has more of these. Thanks. Bye.